Five Strands with Art Del Cueto. It's going to be a busy week. It's police week up in Washington, D.C. So it's a fantastic week. I've been there before, and it helps honor the men and women in law enforcement, especially those that have paid the ultimate sacrifices, and the families as well. So, as always, keep law enforcement in your prayers. We constantly need it. We had such a bad, back and forth when President Obama was in office, and I thought it would die down, but I think it just stayed. The divide stayed for so long, and now the bigger divide that you see is obviously against CBP and Border Patrol. There's always nonstop attacks. So there was reports, and some reporters reached out to me asking me questions about some type of report that came out where Secretary Mullen may have made the comments that he was not going to utilize CBP anymore to do interior enforcement. That hasn't been confirmed, denied. Again, I was asked. I'm not into the whole TMZ thing of, hey, there's a rumor, let me jump on it at that point, unless there is some confirmation. So I don't comment on it. But I think Tom Homan came out to Phoenix last week and he spoke about it, and not about that particular, but what he said was that they were going to continue with enforcement and interior enforcement. They were going to continue to find individuals that are here illegally, and he used an explanation that I have been using for quite some time, and I had talked to Tom Homan about it, and I'm glad it's finally being expressed, especially through him. Of course, he's got a bigger microphone, but you can help us have a big microphone by hitting subscribe and sharing this. As always, I say that. But so Tom Homan came out in Phoenix, and he explained that a lot of this targeted enforcement, you're going after one individual, but there's other individuals there that are also illegally in the country. And I'll add what I had been saying as well is sometimes when you have this targeted enforcement and you arrest certain individuals, there's always somebody in the house that wants to, snitch off on the neighbor, on a cousin, a family member, whatever it may be. That happens way more often than not. And I think half the time they do it because they believe that if they're in trouble, one, misery loves company, of course. But second of all, I think they also do it because they realize that perhaps if they do that, the law will be more lenient with them. So there's the explanation, right? There's targeted enforcement, but people like to snitch, so everyone else, comes with them. And that's usually how it happens. Or when you do that targeted enforcement, there's others in that household that are also illegally in the country. And the media likes to focus on those instead of the actual target on why Border Patrol, CBP, ICE was going after these people. Again, there was a report where Secretary Mullen may have said or may not have said that he wasn't going to do interior enforcement. I believe Tom Homan came out and he explained, he didn't even explain that. I don't want to say that. But he came out and he gave an explanation of what we're still doing moving forward, and that's important. Listen, I trust Tom Homan, okay? I've worked with him. I've talked to him. I can call him on the phone, and he answers the phone each and every time, so I have a good relationship with Tom Homan. I think Tom Homan is one of those individuals that has been here through different administrations, but his moral compass has never changed, and he's always been vocal of what's right and what's wrong. Now, I won't discredit I won't credit other individuals because I do believe that still to this day we have a lot of individuals that have been there through other administrations and they continue to get leadership positions, and I don't believe that their heart's in the right place. I think they know how to tread the water long enough till another administration comes along and then they stay relevant. So, but Tom Homan's not one of those. And that's why I love the communication with Tom Homan, because I know he's a straight shooter and he goes straight to President Trump and tells him, hey, this is the deal. I'm not so sure that everyone else would do that as well. But look, I continue to be hopeful, and I think under this administration we're a lot better than we would have been under Kamala Harris, and we're definitely a lot better than we were under the Biden administration. So all the back and forth, that's what I got on that one. I think in even more important news that you're not hearing much about it, I had a conference call with some individuals this morning, and I was trying to talk about it, and they said, yeah, they heard it, but it's something that hasn't caught a lot of traction. I think it should, okay? So we've seen the attacks on the cartels in Mexico and how the United States has gone in there and they've extradited some individuals. You need to understand this, and I say it as nice as I can because I've been here my entire life. Again, I always stress that I've been here my entire life on the border. I didn't just show up one day and decide to talk about border issues. I've lived it. The Mexican government is going to show you what they want to show you. They're not going to have, hey, access and do whatever you want and see whatever you want to see. And there's always been a lot of corruption in Mexico. That's the reality. Now, what's been in the news, not as much as I think it should be, but hopefully it starts gaining some traction, is there's reports now that the Mexican government was active in trying to take down, they're saying the MAGA movement. That's what they're saying in the Spanish-speaking circles within social media. More so, they were trying to take down President Trump as a whole. They did not want him to be president. There's over 50 Mexican consulate offices in the United States. Now, I'm not trying to badmouth them at all, but there is a lot coming out report-wise that they may have been involved with a lot of these issues of trying to discredit the Republican Party. They would only go to Democrat functions, as well as, within their social media, they were trying to push that narrative, maybe not as inconspicuous as they thought they were being. But another report came out yesterday, Sunday. Okay, I'm recording this on a Monday. So yesterday, Sunday, another report came out that the current administration in Mexico may have utilized well over $160 million, okay? $160 million to try to use that money to campaign actively against President Trump during the election. So I think that's something that's going to catch more attention sooner rather than later. There's a lot of things going on in the world, but I really hope that people start looking at that. To me, look, it's the ultimate Trojan horse. They have the Mexican consulate. They're here. They're pushing that movement. And I'm in Tucson, so I've seen it. If you look at the Mexican consulate pages and social media, look at who they've hung out with. Look at who they talk to. It's one political party over the other. So definitely they had an agenda, and I get it. Look, if you have that agenda as a private citizen, I get you, man. You're confused, you're ignorant, whatever you want to call it. But if you're here as a foreign government, okay, and the consulates at each office, they're a representative of their country. So in this case, you're representing the country of Mexico, and you are actively working against any political party while in the United States. I think that should be thoroughly looked at. They should be charged, and at the least, there should be charges against them through immigration, revoke their visas, deport them, and honestly, I mean, maybe start looking at, do we need that many offices from the Mexican consulate in the United States? As I said, I'm hearing there's over 50. You can look it up. Something keeps ringing in my head, says 52. There's 52, but I don't want to be out here and say, oh, he said 52, and then the comments say, Art, there's only 49. Art, there's 53. My understanding is there's 52. And do we really need that many here, especially if what they've been doing is conspiring and trying to interfere with our elections in the United States? So those are the things that I wanted to clear up, make sure that people were aware of. Again, I will stress this. Hit the subscribe button. Share this, because we need to move the needle, and the only way we move that is by talking to the other side of the aisle. And you got to continue to be active on that end. Look, I've been seeing a lot of congressmen in the United States, in Arizona, particularly. I always follow my friends, right? So I watch Abe, Congressman Hamadeh. I watch Eli Crane, Cisco Mani, Andy Biggs. Those are my friends. And I want to tell you, I stress on that because people, you need to understand, I guess I have a different insight in a lot of these individuals. I know these people on a personal level, not just what you hear, what you read, what you see on social media. Those individuals are genuine. They're genuine people. I'm telling you, I can't say enough good things about them because I know them personally. We may not even agree with everything politically, me and them, at times, but they're genuinely good people. And it just irks me that a lot of them, they're visiting schools. They've been, they were active during the day of prayer. They went ahead and visited some veteran locations. They visited local businesses. They're doing so much, bringing out the voice of the community, at the same time talking to members of the community. And yeah, so it's gonna people that are gonna be out there and say, well, it's because it's election. Okay, put that aside. But where are they going during this election cycle to try to talk to people and help some of the businesses as well? So there's been a lot of comments of people attacking them on that end. However, I'm looking at Adelita Grijalva. The only thing she's visited, let's be honest, is one or two, taco stands and the ICE facility. But people want to judge the other side. So clean up your own mess. Honestly, clean up your own mess. I'm very hopeful for the future of Arizona. Midterms are going to be a big deal. The governor's race is going to be a big deal. And obviously, you all know who what team I'm on. You can follow my social media, and we got to go bigs all the way. Or should I say big all the way in the state of Arizona. So stay tuned for more that will be coming up during this week. I might throw up some shorts. But until next time, stay safe and God bless.